Hey guys, today we're going to do a two-column proof where we prove these two triangles to be congruent given LN is perpendicular to MO and N is the midpoint of MO. And then we're going to try to prove, again, the triangle MLN, our left triangle, is congruent to our right triangle OLN. All right, so did you know that when you do a two-column proof, there's like, give me answers? Well, if you didn't, our two givens that we have can go on lines 1 and 2, and the reasons are going to be given, and then our proof statement is actually going to go on our last line down here. All right, so let me fill those in for you. You can fill them in on your paper if you're following along. If you're one of my students, this is right off of your assignment, so maybe check it out. All right, guys, once I got those parts filled out into my proof over here, then I need to start coming up with some of these other reasons to see if I can figure out why those two triangles are going to be congruent, okay? So one other thing that might be helpful for you is you were given these things, we can use those to mark up our picture. For example, LN is perpendicular to MO, it says, right? Well, LN is perpendicular to MO. What that will do for me is actually give me right angles for angle 1 and angle 2. In fact, let's say that right now in our next line. We're going to say angle 1 and angle 2 are right. They are right angles, okay? And the reason is just going to be the definition of perpendicular. So we can say the definition of perpendicular, or perpendicular lines maybe. All right, once we have that in our picture, then we have to say that right angles are congruent to each other. All right, so now I'd probably say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And remember, all right angles are congruent to each other by RACT, the right angle congruence theorem, R-A-C-T. All right, so once that's good to go, then let's see. We have angle 1 and angle 2. Those are both right angles. But we need a few other things. Remember, side, angle, hypotenuse, leg, those kinds of problems. So we're going to have to find a few more things that we can figure out to show that these two triangles are congruent. All right, by the way, those last two came all from our first given. What's our second given say? It says N is the midpoint of MO. Well, if N is the midpoint of MO, then MN is congruent to NO. Let's say that in another line. We'll say MN is congruent to NO. MN is congruent to NO, and again, that's the definition now of a midpoint. All right, so if that's true, now looking at my triangles, what I currently have, if I just look at maybe like the left triangle over here, I have a side and an angle. A side and an angle. And if I write out my 5 possibilities of why these triangles can be congruent, I'll do that real quick. There's only a couple of those that actually make sense, all right? Because I have a side and an angle, right? So I can cross out side, 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 since I have an angle that's there. I can't really cross out too many more though, because these all have sides and angles, and actually hypotenuse leg is still in play because these are right triangles. So we got rid of one. Let's maybe see if there's something else in this picture that's helpful. And what I'm seeing is that they share a side. Anytime you see triangles that are butted up next to each other, you can say they share a side by the reflexive property. All right. So to do that, or to show that on my picture, I'm going to say that LN is congruent to LN. I'll put a couple tick marks there. And then I need to say that in my line 6. All right, and again, that was because of the reflexive property. All right. So now if I look at what I have in just, again, my left triangle, I have a side, an angle, and a side, with that angle's in between those. Okay, so I think the reason that these two triangles are congruent to my proof statement is because of side, angle, side. Hey guys, if you found this video helpful, check out this video where we do another triangle proof.